All right. So, Stuart, how you doing, my friend?
I'm very well, Roger. How are you?
I'm tremendous, tremendous. It is Halloween, and my daughter is super excited. She wants to go out knocking on doors, and yeah, I've never really been a person about knocking on people's doors, like begging for sweets. That's what it seems like, but the
It's a
kids
bit of
love
a
it.
strange concept to me, Roger. When you think about, we've told our children not to talk to strangers and not to take sweets off strangers, and then we encourage it once a year. I've never really understood it, but hey,
Yeah,
they love it, don't they? So
yeah,
yeah,
they do.
once a year we'll allow it.
Just once a year, supervised. I'll be there as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Stuart, I met you at the Arnold Festival in Birmingham, where you had your trade stand, um, um, showing your product, which was this here, Muscle Med, which is like a recovery oil, botanical recovery oil. I'm not too sure how you would uh, describe it exactly, but you did give some detail on it. I was really intrigued. I mean, recovery itself is a big thing. Many people focus on pushing themselves to the limit, but not many people think about resting or giving themselves just time to reset. They push until something is broken, or they may be sedentary, and because of this inactivity, they become sore and have aches and pains. So this product which you have can be suitable for a lot of people. But before we get into that, I'd just like to learn a bit about yourself and how you came along your journey to bring this miracle oil together.
Magic in a bottle, as we like to call it.
Yes.
Well, I've always been involved with sport. So from very young, I was football and martial arts, but unfortunately got injured at 17, quite a serious knee injury that led itself to, I think, 6 operations over a 5-year period. So that put any sort of football plans that I'd got, certainly playing at any level. Well, to be fair, any level at all, because I just couldn't. All my cartilage was removed. I had MCL, complete MCL tear, patellar tendon damage. So structurally, it was, by the time I was 21, it was in a real bad way. So just kept going through periods of kind of recovery, going back to the gym to try and get fit, because I was 50 last month, and when I was a kid, I got brought up in a little village. There was no, unlike my son who's in football now, he's got me as a kind of a mentor, and there's lots of help on hand. There's lots of information. You've got Google. There's lots of online help. Within the clubs he's at, there's lots of experts. Where there wasn't with me, I was under the hospital. Who I was playing for was kind of, well, come back when you're fit, kind of thing. So I had to find my way. I obviously went to physio. That you go to the standard, how they treat, whether you're 20 years old or whether you're 50 years old. They give you the same sort of physio. They're not looking at you as an athlete or a sports person. So I'd listen to some advice, try to start cycling, build up the strength of the knee, kept doing that. My problem was I was too enthusiastic, and I kept going back to football too soon. There was no one telling me you need 6 months and you've got to go through this process of recovery. So to cut a long story short, kind of couldn't continue in football, but because I'd been going to the gym to get back fit for football, I'd started to enjoy the gym. I never, growing up, I really hadn't heard of bodybuilding. It was all football and athletics and rugby and cricket, where what was my background at school, and what all your mates did. So I'd never heard of bodybuilding. I'd never heard of someone standing on stage and there was a competition for anything. I had no idea. But I really got into it. I started seeing the body change. Obviously, putting on during my recovery for me, I started to put on, because I was doing some weights as well as doing fitness work. I started to put some tissue on, and people started to compliment you and going, "Oh, what have you been doing? Oh, your arms look big." And of course, 20 years old, I was starting to like that. And then just realised once I couldn't play football, I wanted to carry on and be involved with sport, because I needed something to channel myself into. I've always been the sort of person that I do it to its absolute limit, and I want to be the best I can possibly be at it. So yeah, I was enjoying the gym, carried on training, which was just a very small town gym. No, no bodybuilders as such, or just people that went there for fitness and to do a few weights. Soon realised I needed to move on to that. So I came into Coventry, which was about 30 miles from the village I lived in, nearly 40 miles from where I worked. Went around all the gyms, found the one I liked, and then ended up coming over there and training. Of course, there was lots of bodybuilders. The person that owned it is a personal, very, very good friend of mine now. Lots of information, lots of knowledge, and started to train over there. I was kind of quite timid. I've never been timid, but I was timid in that environment, kind of walking and these massive guys throwing these huge weights around, and I had to kind of learn very, very quickly. And I've always been the same with trying to learn. I want to learn off somebody that's better than me. So I would always try and play football against kids that were better than me. I'd always try and compete against better people that were better than me, because I found it the fastest way for me to progress. So, I quickly kind of got into the fold, got to know the guys, and eventually got a training partner and started to get advice. So very naively, I think, I put a lot of weight on. I thought you had to eat a lot of eggs and drink a lot of milk, and I kind of went from this 12 stone, 6'1" footballer to about 17.5 stone fat bloke. I don't even know what to describe, really. Not knowing what I was doing, but anyway, you soon learn and realise that wasn't eating eggs and full fat milk and drinking full fat milk wasn't the thing to do. So obviously got all the help and advice, started to train properly, and then decided to give this competing a go. So I did that, did the first timers. I think I went down from about 17.10 to about 13 stone on stage. So I realised, wow, I need to do a lot of development here. I need to do a lot of growing, and I need to put a lot of lean muscle tissue on if I, ever want to sort of stand on a stage competitively. So didn't compete for another 4 years. Just trained really hard, 6 days a week. Totally put my life into it. I had a full-time job and a career, I had a very understanding girlfriend at the time. So, all my meals were cooked. I got home, my day was up very early, get some CV in, go to work all day, travel over and start training at 7 o'clock in the evening, train till sort of 8:30, leave there, 30-mile journey home, come back, cook all my food for the next day. So, it was intense, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it because I could really channel myself into it. And of course, when you progress and you see development, it's encouraging. And I think as individuals, we like that. We like to see progression, whether it's in business, in your sport, or your physique. So, so it carried on from there, really. Ended up competing British Championship level, got through to the finals, British finals a few times. Sadly, I always wanted to compete at Wembley, because when I was watching the finals, it was always at Wembley. And then they started knocking all that down, and I ended up competing in Nottingham. But don't take anything away, it was still the British finals. But won a few shows, started going to things like Mr. Olympias. So really, really got into it, absolutely loved it. And then ended up being back and forth to the States for about a year and a half, 2 years. 99, which was my first Olympia. So I did the British on the Sunday, flew to Vegas on the Wednesday. And I was meant to do the Venice Beach Open 2 weeks later, but I dieted for 34 weeks that year. And you go to Vegas where all the buffets are.
Oh,
yeah, not great, not a great idea. So I didn't get on stage at the Venice Beach Open, but I did have some great shoots. I did Canyon Shoot, Huntington Beach down in LA, but loved it. Again, from being over here, back in the 90s, when I was dieting, if I had, I'd been out longer than I expected, and I hadn't got my food, so I thought I'd go into a pub and I'll ask them to do me a 6-egg white omelette and a chicken breast. And they'd look at you, how do I do an egg white omelette? Well, surely I separate eggs. You've got chefs, they must know how to do that. But it was always trying to educate. There wasn't that level of education here then, and it wasn't kind of part of the. We was known as freaks, really. My dad was a landlord. You kind of walk in there, and the whole place just go quiet because this 18.5 stone guys just walked in with 22.5-inch arms, and they're like going, like looking at you, wanting to poke you. It was quite surreal, really. So going over to the States and being the mecca of bodybuilding out in California and I was staying at an apartment just up the road from Muscle Beach. It was just phenomenal. You know, you've got Firehouse Cafe. You could just go in and get buckwheat pancakes, and they'd ask you if you want a protein drink with it. You know, it was just a whole different lifestyle. The sun, you know, it was great. But I soon realised, I think genetically, I don't think anybody's ever been able to out-train me. I trained till, you know, I was sick if necessary. I had upper body genetics were great, lower body I had high quads, so you were never going to look, you know, perfect. I had high calves, so genetically I was never ever going to be, you know, a top level bodybuilder. But I think I overachieved in it compared to the genetics I'd got. You know, but I dedicated myself, trained really, really hard. So I think what I'm trying to say is that's carried on into business and into the rest of my life. Is if I do it, I want to do it right. I want to do it the best of my ability, and I don't want to take shortcuts. So I always carried on training, just you know, not competing. Although I did challenge myself in 2012. Someone challenged me to be able to diet and get back in shape. I wasn't, you know, horribly out of shape, but I wasn't anywhere near competition shape. And I didn't train as hard as I would when I was competing. I did. I threw myself back into it massively, and I went and competed again. But I didn't like the process. I'd got the 2 kids then. You know, my daughter's a dancer, my son's a footballer, so I was dropping my daughter over to one side of the city to the dance school or a festival and taking my son to training. You know, he was at Coventry, really young. My daughter's always danced at a high level. She's at, you know, performing arts school now in London. So they've always done things at quite a high level. So, you know, the demands on me, their mum's a dance teacher, so she used to teach in the evening. So all the evening activities were me. So literally from a Monday to a Friday was running the kids about. So to try and get up at 5 in the morning to do your CV or train. I started training in the mornings at like 5:30, and then do all their activities, and then come back and do an hour's CV. And I'm not getting in till 9:15 in the evening, and then having to cook 5 meals for the next day. It wasn't a nice process, if I'm honest. I'm glad I did it to challenge myself so mentally I could do it. But I didn't enjoy the process. The only thing I enjoyed, stepped on stage and the kids were in the front row. You know, so they saw what Daddy used to do, albeit I wasn't as good as what I used to be, because, you know, it was 13 years since I've competed. So, but I threw myself into it. I just realised that, you know, I was never going to go on and do anything with it, but I wanted to put myself through that mental and physical process to see if I'd kind of still got that ability and mental strength to do it.
Yeah. So where did it lead to Muscle Mend? Like after all the competing and everything, where's the connection there?
So I've obviously got an interest in sports and nutrition, and I've owned different businesses, even the British Superbike team, a factory British Superbike team. When my advice to the riders was about sport, you know, eating healthily, hydrating, how they recover for the sport that they do. I've been involved with. I was a part owner of a fantastic MMA facility in the UK. There was five people involved. We had now Leon Edwards, who's in UFC. Leon worked for us, has come in. His mum brought him in as an 18-year-old. We've got Vaughan Lee, who was one of the coaches at the time, that went on to do UFC lightweight at the time. So I've been in and around lots of different sports. So I was used to helping people. There's no point somebody who races motorbikes or somebody who plays football, somebody who plays rugby, and then someone's bodybuilder. You can't advise them the same. You know, their nutrition has to be different. Bodybuilders want to be in peak condition on that particular day. If you get someone who races motorbikes, they need to make sure they've got the energy to be able to complete the races. They need to be their energy levels need to be as high as they possibly can, so that they can concentrate, because they make slight mistake. It can be the difference between crashing and not. So I quickly learned that there's people need different advice and different lifestyle for doing that particular sport. So I had a friend of mine right from actually got employed at the gym, my friend's gym where we trained at 17 years old, is Al Barrett that started Grenade. So we've been friends for you know, many years, and I got involved in Grenade at the very start, when it was just a thermo detonator. But I knew obviously Al before that, when he had the sports supplement company, the distributor. He was a distributor before he ever had the brand. So I'd seen the journey. I'd never really been out of sport. I might not have been competing myself, but I'd never really been out of sport. and I saw, you know, the rise of people like USN in this country. I know they're a South African company, but the way they went through the process, I was sponsored by USN, so I saw, you know, their rise. So it's always interested me. The sport's always interested me. How people recover, what they do, how they do it, why they do it. And I've seen people that are great at it. I've seen people that are not so good at it. And you know yourself, it comes down to genetics. You can be, not everyone's going to be a Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know how many days, you know, how many hours you practice to be like him. You're never going to become him because you're just naturally a genius. Same with bodybuilding. You know, you can have someone that I've trained with lots of top pros, and I don't think they train as hard as I do. But then they're more genetically gifted, and they just seem to grow looking at a weight rather than actually, you know, training that hard. I'm not saying that they don't have trained with some unbelievably hard trainers, including the likes of Dorian Yates and Early Taylor and Lee Priest and people like that. So I've seen how hard they do train as well. So just going through the process, I owned another brand, a clothing brand, and we got introduced to do some, you know, through social media now, Instagram. Everyone has to try and grow that, you know, it's the go-to, isn't it, for growing the brand and getting it out there away from traditional marketing so much now. So I met some guys that was developing a product, but it was originally going to be to alleviate cramps, so cramps within sport, bike racing and things like that. And I said about how bad my knees were. I literally hadn't trained lower body for about 4 years, and I couldn't even do a full cycle rotation because my knee had kind of got that bad. And when you're, I suppose, as driven and passionate about things as I am, for not to be able to train my lower body, still kept going to the gym, still kept trying, but it's really frustrating that I couldn't do anything lower body, and I almost felt disconnected, like my upper body worked separately to my lower body. I was getting to the point where I was taking, you know, 6 or 8 ibuprofen a day, then was on paracetamol with that. And then I even changed to gone to cocodomol, because by mid-afternoon, the pain was that bad in my right knee because of the inflammation. And I thought, well, I was 47, 48 at the time. And I'm thinking, hang on, you know, surely without having a knee replacement, and the doctors already told me that wasn't necessarily going to cure it anyway, because it's arthritis of the joint. At the bottom of the bone, bottom of the thigh bone, top of the shin bone, you've got cartilage that goes over the joint, and that was worn down that badly, both sides. Basically, they were touching. Yeah. So a knee replacement wasn't actually going to cure that side of it. When I got introduced to these guys that was developing the product, I was interested to find out more about it. And I said, would it help my knee? Told them exactly what my knee issues were, what the problem was. How you know, and actually when I first saw them, it was that swollen. You know, there's a difference between my right knee and my left knee. And they said, yeah, just put it on once in the morning, again in the afternoon if it's starting to hurt, massage it into the knee, you know, all the way around, and again in the evening. Literally within a week, the pain had gone. Obviously, it's never going to cure it because structurally my knee's damaged beyond repair. But it's the inflammation that was causing me the pain and the discomfort, and actually stopping me even going out cycling or anything like that. So started to use the product, the oil. I thought, this is absolutely brilliant. So I said to my son, so he plays football. He grew from about 5'7" to 6'3" in about 16 months. So growing pains. I know it was ridiculous. Growing pains. Just general aches and pains from the amount of sport he was doing and football. He was having he was doing strength conditioning then, because obviously skeletal system had grown massively, but structurally he needed to put on more tissue, and he was getting imbalances because his strength wasn't there, and you know he wasn't being able to do things in injury prevention because he didn't know what he was doing. So we got the strength conditioning coach that specialised in football. Went to chiropractor, osteopath, and the sports therapist. Started to have all that treatment, and then we just started giving the product in its original form to him to take to the sports therapist. So after his sports massage, using it on him after that, he was then coming home. They told us to try it in the bath, you know, 10, 12 squirts in the bath, 20-minute soak. And he's very skeptical about anything that I talk to him. Doesn't matter, it's protein, doesn't matter, you know, anything that branched chain amino acids. I have to kind of showing the science behind it and convincing he should be doing this, electrolytes, you know, all these different things, being an athlete. And he came to me and said, Dad, this is amazing. What is it? And I explained to him what it is, you know, a blend of different essential oils, all absolute oils. And I thought, this is much bigger than what they think the market it can go into. And now, with my background in sport, being around all these different sports, everyone's got aches and pains. You know, no matter what level you are, if you go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week and you've got a busy lifestyle, you know, whether you've got children, whether you've got, you know, with whatever your job is, especially if it's manual, everyone's got aches and pains. And I just thought this could lend itself to, you know, lots of different people in lots of different sports and benefit people from the recovery element. So that's where the original idea. So I was the person that was developing it, and they've been developing it for kind of over 2 years, 2.5 years. And I'm really happy with where it was, working with people, even working with some students that are doing sports science degrees. And I asked them basically if they could white label the product for me. And that's how we come up with Muscle Mend. But the interesting thing was, I met them just before the original lockdown, the first lockdown. So with what I was doing and what I still do, I wouldn't have had time to even put the thought process into it, think about a brand, think about a name, because I had got more downtime. You know, we was at home a lot more. Wasn't going to the gym, but was, you know, out cycling and walking, because I'd started using the oil 3 months previous to the first lockdown. So, you know, I was able to go out cycling, which was a bit of a godsend, because that, you know, being able to do that during lockdown when no gyms were open, you know, not just going for a walk and getting the fresh air, but I was able to kind of go out cycling, and my CV was letting me down. My fitness was letting me down way before my knee was. So it was good. And then we came up with a name. Went through the trademarking process, which is laborious. How to manufacture it in the numbers that we wanted it manufactured in. Who's going to be our target market? Everybody is our target market, if I'm honest, but you can't go after everybody. You know, it's just impossible. You've got to get the brand established somewhere and then spin off from that. And the market that I knew better than any other market was the gym and fitness industry. You know, I knew.
Let me ask you, what is the main active ingredient in Muscle Mend? Is that okay to discuss?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's on the website. There's no secret. The secret is the blend. It's the secrets of the amounts, and that's what took all the time, because I'm sure you know from what I've seen and what I've obviously read, and what you discuss, you know the importance of ingredients and the blends and the mixtures, and there's lots of different things. Some don't work together, some work better with others than other products. So the 6 active ingredients are frankincense, ginger, rosemary, peppermint, lavender, and marjoram. So that's the 6 active ingredients. They're all either anti-inflammatory or relaxants, and actually a couple of them are anti-inflammatory and relaxants. And it's the blend that is the magic, because it went through lots of incarnations that you wasn't getting an effect from it. It wasn't working. So the guy that's a much smarter guy than me, I must say, that's the biochemist that developed it, took him a long time, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying, if he ever listens to this podcast, you wouldn't want to be stuck in the lift with him for very long. But he's absolutely anal about his ingredients, his products, and how they work and why they work. And this was the 6 best ingredients that got the best effect. There's actually more natural, better anti-inflammatories, but they don't work with some of the other products. So although it originally had a different anti-inflammatory in their essential oil, it didn't work that well, because it counteracted itself with the other products. So we wanted it to be not just anti-inflammatory, but we wanted the relaxing qualities of it as well.
That's awesome. How would you say this is different from any other botanical oils out there? I mean, there's quite a lot. So for another to be on the market, it's like, do we need another? I've got to ask.
Well, I asked myself that question. And I didn't really know much about botanical oils and essential oils and their how powerful the anti-inflammatory and relaxing qualities are. But I think you've kind of got the idea that when I do something, I do it to its maximum. So I want to know about it. I want to understand the products. I want to understand the ingredients and why they work. So I researched it a lot, looked at any potential competition, and there is lots of essential oils, botanical and natural products. But there's nothing that would give you the relaxing and the anti-inflammatory qualities. You can go and buy, if you want something, if you suffer from anxiety, relaxing, like lavenders and chamomiles and things like that. There's lots of different things that you can do to help with that. But apart from going down, I suppose, the medicinal route and having a pharmaceutical product, which is obviously synthetic, the Voltarols of this world, that only really mask a problem as well. Just taking a paracetamol will help take the pain away for that particular period of time, but it's not helping you in any way. It's not helping the recovery process. It's just getting rid of a bit of pain for now. And the same as with a Voltarol, or there's quite a few. And the other brand name escapes me. I can see it. I can't think of it.
It's okay.
Anyway, you rub it on the area, it's either going to numb it for a short period of time, biofreeze, things like that. They're all synthetic pharmaceutical products, and we didn't want to go down that route. So with using the product, I understood how well it worked, but it's how we get that over to the people that are going to use it within the various sports. So albeit there's lots of essential oils, this is unique with what it actually does. And in fact, that's why the ingredients aren't a secret. We can't have the ingredients as a secret, because people need to know what they're using, even down to, we use the carrier oil. It's the highest grade carrier oil you can get, which is high in omega-3 and 6 essential fatty acids. It absorbs into the body better, so you don't want to be sat with an oily residue on your body for a long time. It's got some antioxidants in as well, which is all byproducts of the natural products that are in there. Vitamin E, so great for the skin, because you're applying it on your skin. If you've got something that's good for the skin as well, even the better, nourishes the skin. So there wasn't anything in the marketplace that I could find, and I still haven't, that rivals our product. If you want to mask a problem, you can go and get a pharmaceutical product for it, but that's only going to mask the problem. So, and then a Voltarol is going to take away the pain because it's got a synthetic painkiller in it, but it's not going to help the muscles relax, so it's not going to help you recover quicker. So that's where we was with it. We couldn't find anything else actually in the marketplace that rivals it. You could go and buy these 6 ingredients, no problem at all, and you can try and blend them yourself and pop some extra virgin olive oil in there or whatever. Well, you might not ever come up with a formula. So actually, the secret is in the blend, and not the ingredients. The ingredients speak for themselves.
Let me ask. So you mentioned that you are, very much a sports person, and obviously your son and daughter are, and you hang around with lots of sports professionals who need something like this. Would you say that this oil could be used by a regular person as well?
Very much so. I don't class myself as a sports person anymore. I still train. I still go to the gym. It's a bit more haphazard than it ever used to be, because I run a couple of businesses, and I'm busy. So, and I'm 50, so I don't have as much energy as I used to. And if I have to exert my energy into business, that's what I have to do. But certainly for anyone that, it helps. Arthritis is caused from inflammation. So my mum and dad, my dad's 80, has got quite bad health. My mum's got really bad knee problems, and she's got sciatic nerve issue as well. And I started to give them before we ever launched. I started to give them products, and my sister actually as well. She's 4 years older than me, and she has really chronic arthritis in the hands, to the point she can't open her hands properly sometimes. There's a lot of discomfort. So she uses it on her hands twice a day, and then which is the same, and soaks them in, puts 5 drops in a sink or in a bowl, and soaks her hands in them for sort of 10 minutes. And the difference it's made to her life, and she's never done sport in her life, has been dramatic. And the same with my dad. We're never going to be able, he's never going to be cured. You know, he's got a diabetes. He's been a diabetic for 30 odd years, and all the issues that come with that. You know, the vascular problems. Yeah. But he had a fall, unfortunately, and broke his wrist. And it never repaired quite quickly because of his age. They won't break it. It's a big operation, so they won't break it again. And to fix it, it's a long process to go through. And it won't kind of add anything to his lifestyle. So they're trying to just manage the pain. And I got him using it on it twice a day. And it just becomes more manageable. You know, reduce the inflammation, you reduce pain. If you reduce pain, you know, you feel better and life's more manageable. So it can be used by anybody. I just hadn't got, at the time, I hadn't got a market, or hadn't got a way of getting into the general consumers market. My routes to market were, I knew to, you know, supplement distributors. I knew individual gym owners. I knew some group owners through the business that I do. You know, we knew some football agents. I supply a product that I was involved with. We supply into professional football. So you know, we sponsored Wasps Rugby for a few years, and we know a lot of the players now from that. And I know a few of the clubs. So that's the route I had to market with this product. So yes, it is a general, and we can maybe do another podcast when I launch the next brand, which is almost going to be a sister company, but it's going to be aimed more at the general consumer and probably at the older age market, because the follow-on products from the oil will be more to do with just general wellness, like liquid vitamins, antioxidants, and you know, I'm sure you'll know there's a whole argument between liquid vitamins and tablet form vitamins, but which we don't need to get into now. But so
yeah, I wanted to talk about that actually. But maybe in a moment though, about future products and things that you might be working on. But with the oil, can it actually be used in conjunction with something else in order to speed up recovery? Do you have anything which you would suggest someone to use it with to speed recovery?
With recovery, with injuries, I mean, we've just, for example, we started to supply to one of the lead dancers in the Royal Ballet, Musclemen, and he snapped his Achilles. He's had a series of operations, and he's using it and absolutely loves it. But that's not the one thing he's doing for recovery. I think it's part of a process. I think the beauty is with Musclemen is you go for your sports recovery, you go for your treatment, and whether that's every day, once a week, depending on budget, and whether you're a professional athlete or whether you're just you know, the man in the street that has a bad back. You know, you're going to go and maybe once a week to see the chiropractor. The beauty with Musclemen is you can, as anything starts to niggle or hurt, or you feel just really tired and your muscles feel tight, you can use it there and there. You know, you can have one at home, you can have one in your bathroom, you can have one in your gym bag, you can have one in the car. The more people have, it's better for me. You know, I should do a package: a car, one, a gym bag, and a home. So yeah, so you can use. So that's what I do. You know, I still go to a sports massage once a week. They have product now, but I used to take mine with me. They don't use it on me when they're doing the treatment, because it does absorb very, very quickly into the skin, because it's such good quality carrier oils. It's no good for doing sports massage. They have to use that much of it. It would become, you know, ridiculously expensive for them. So they're not using the other oil that doesn't blend, doesn't soak into the skin as quick. But they use Musclemen as a finisher. So they've done. You've had a shoulders, neck, back massage. At the end of it, put it on, smells amazing. You start to get the relaxing qualities straight away, and the anti-inflammatory starts to bring down the inflammation in the area you just had treated. But then you've got it at home. So if your knee starts to hurt, or you've got a sore shoulder, you know, if you want to do some gardening, your knees are hurting. You won't be doing gardening in today's weather, by the way. But, you want to do some gardening, you know, and your knees are sore. Put it on 20 minutes before you go and do the gardening, and it will just help take away any discomfort you've got in your knees. People that just do cycling for fitness, you know, we've got lots and lots of people that use it. They put it on, really struggle with doing serious mileage on the bikes, or any mileage on the bikes, because they get in knee pain, and they put it on half an hour before they go out, just onto their knees, sort of 4 or 5 drops onto the knees, massage it in, and it just helps them enjoy the ride more, because they're not in any discomfort. They feel like they can go for longer without any discomfort. So I think that's the difference. Is you shouldn't just say, I'm using Muscle Men and that's it, because that'd be ridiculous. You know, if you don't sleep properly, if you don't eat properly, if you don't look after yourself, if you don't hydrate, and if you're going to go and do sport or put your body through trauma, because effectively that's what every day is, it's trauma, isn't it? We're putting our body through some sort of trauma. If you don't take all the other elements serious, then no, Muscle Men isn't going to be the thing that just fixes everything. But it's certainly the thing that will help, and it's easy to apply, obviously, and it's easy to have with you.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. What type of testimonials have you had? Like, what would you say are your best testimonials that you've received so far?
We don't, all our testimonials are genuine. We don't, what I was really passionate about is, certainly before launch, and we still do this now, if we've got somebody that's they take the sport seriously, and you can see what they do, you can see the level they compete at, whether they're amateur or professional. I don't just go after professional athletes. You know, we've got lots of amateur athletes as well as professional, but we send the product first. I'm only interested in people using the product, trying it. If they like it, then we only ask them for a testimonial. Actually, they say, oh, you know, we don't want to post every other day on it. No, we're not asking. We're asking for that. We just want you to use it. If you like it, do a testimonial. If you'd like to get involved with the brand and you're right for the brands and we're right for you, then great. You know, we'll get them involved. So all the testimonials have been good. You know, really, really good. And I don't think I really saw the importance of that at the start, but I'm certainly seeing the importance of that now, because I think people see through, you know, non-genuine testimonials, and we've had people now approach us that are very high-profile athletes, fantastic social media presence. They're starting to see the product more. They're starting to, you know, see these are the people using it, and they're getting in contact with me and asking how much will I pay them to endorse the product.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I think have you tried it? No. So you want me to pay you to endorse my product that you haven't used? I don't, to me, I don't get that. And I know, you know, lots of brands do, and you know, we wouldn't have adverts on the TV if you hadn't got people being paid to say the right things about a brand. But to me, that wasn't the importance in the launch of the brand. The importance was to get genuine testimonials, people using it, and people understanding it. Because you'll know yourself, trying to sell a recovery product into the marketplace is tough. You know, I could have launched with another pre-workout with a cool name, and that doesn't interest me. You know, I could have done another protein. So yeah, protein's obviously an obvious great in recovery. I'm not saying people don't use protein and use muscle mass. It's completely different ends of the spectrum. So going back to the question you said a minute ago, should people use other things? Absolutely. Do anything to get that slight advantage. If you can recover quicker by using Muscle Men, and I mean you can train harder in the gym, or you recover better, or you can feel fully recovered, you know, for the next game of football, you know, for your next fight, for your next you know, your next cycle ride, whatever it might be, then you know, Muscle Men can help in that. But don't neglect the other areas of recovery. You know, if you need 8 hours of sleep a day and you're getting 4, then
sort that out.
Yeah, exactly.
Get your sleep in. What about are there age ranges at all? Like, can children use it? Can elderly use it? What about pregnant women? Can they use it?
I'm not a doctor, Roger, so I couldn't say. We say, I think even on a health and safety, it says don't use if pregnant. If that's come from the people that have, you know, developed products, but it's pure essential oils. I don't know what the reasoning would be behind that. Maybe the anti-inflammatory qualities, and maybe, but I'm probably not the person to answer that as to why you shouldn't use it if you're pregnant. I know we just advise don't use it if you're pregnant. I'm sure if you're putting something all over your tummy when you're pregnant and it's anti-inflammatory, I'm not sure how good that is. I don't know. So, but any age group, my son, when he first started using it, was 14, maybe 15, just 15, before we launched it. So any age group. I don't think you're going to need a 6-year-old with it. But if he twists his ankle and his ankle's swollen, well, why not? I can't see any reason that it's it's all pure essential botanical oils. So we get that in our food. So I can't see any reason why not. But you wouldn't want to be telling an 8-year-old to put it on every day. There's no, to me, there's no benefit. They should be getting what they need from the nutrition and and everything else, and they shouldn't need something to take away aches and pains at 8 years old. So
are there any ingredients that could potentially cause irritation? I know they're all natural and stuff, but sometimes people have intolerances to certain ingredients.
There's nothing on there that should. There's nothing on there. We don't use any peanut oils. There's nothing like that anybody. The obvious thing is people have a reaction to. Can someone have a reaction to a peppermint oil? I guess so. But we haven't had anybody that's had any sort of reaction to it whatsoever. And in fact, the opposite. One of the girls has done Sophie, she's on our social media, on our website. She did a testimonial. She tried it really, really early on, and she was very skeptical because she suffers from skin irritation. So I mean, she said, I have a shower and I come out of the rash. So she was really skeptical about using it. So obviously we advised to use it and she'd got a couple of niggles actually that she wants to try and help with. She's very much about using natural products. She can only use a couple of sort of shampoo brands which are all 100% natural. Even things, some deodorants and things like that cause irritation. So she even says it on the testimonial. She said, I was really, because I can get out the shower and I can come out of the rash from having a shower. And she uses it, and she said actually it really seems to aid any irritation I've got. So if she's got anything inflamed on her elbow, she puts it on, it seems to calm it down. So could I say no one will have it? Probably not. That I'll be making a false claim there, because I'm sure in the world there's people that are allergic to ginger oils or lavender, or what I mean. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know how it works in terms of like skin creams and oils and stuff. I know like in food, for instance, they might say, all right, this contains gluten, or as you mentioned about the peanut oil, all right, this contains peanut oil, potentially. So yeah,
you have to state that. Basically, you have to state whether there's things, because lots of people have allergies to anything, peanuts or peanut oils, or so you have to state that it's got none of that. It's all the products is manufactured, mixed and manufactured in a white room as well. So same as any oil, any manufacturing of oil that has to go through that process. You have to have it. You have to have the safety certificate, safety data sheets produced on them independently. So I mean, we use MSDS. And then there's regulation codes, and they have to go through the whole testing processes and things. So we had to go through that anyway for putting that brand, that oil into that brand name. So each product has to have its own safety data sheet.
Okay, cool. So got a bottle right here, which I've been using. I haven't used it every day, but there's been a few times when I've trained legs, and when I train legs, I do go pretty heavy. And that's probably the only body part that feels pretty sore after some time. Everything else just tends to recover very quickly. But it does have a very pleasant smell to it. I do other stuff as well. So for me to just say, oh, Muscle Mend alone is fantastic. I do sauna, red light therapy, cold plunges, and lots of other stuff. But yeah, this does have a nice soothing smell and feel to it. So if somebody wanted to buy this 100 milliliter bottle, how much would it cost?
The retail price is $29.99. That's online, and that's what our retailers sell it for. And we've got some exciting news about where it will be available much more in the consumer market coming very, very soon as well. So one of the major retailers is taking it on board. But yeah, the retail price of it is $29.99. And they can go to our website for that, muscle-men.com. They can go and check out our social media. There's always links to it. There's always the testimonials, the information, the different sort of athletes. So we've got athletes from football, rugby, bodybuilders, MMA, boxers, I might have just said that, you know, on the rugby players, ex-athletes as well. So people, not just people that are current and still training, but, you know, when you recover from, if you've been at a, you know, a sport at a very, very high level, everyone's suffering, you know, when they finish. So we've got ex-pro rugby players using it, ex-pro footballers that use it. So all the information is obviously on the website and also on our social media channels, which are like Insta's just Muscle Men. If you type that in, you'd come up with it. So what you were saying about the way you use it is just your legs, and that's perfect. If you get the most amount of DOMs and your legs seem to take longer to recover, and you know, we don't want to be limping around and in pain for 2 days. Why do you want to do that? Don't get me wrong, I like the feeling of I've trained hard. I like that feeling. But when I've trained legs, and I am back training legs now, nothing compared to what I used to, but I still train. I don't train as heavy, nowhere near as heavy, but I'm still quite intense. So I'll superset a lot of things. So I still put, you know, the muscles through their paces. And the two gyms that I train at, one's got a spiral staircase, and the other one's got a flight of stairs that you either I've got to go up after legs or down after legs, and that's quite interesting. So, but before, you know, my legs would take, by the third day, I could feel them start to recover. So every time after legs, I'm quite religious with it. I will massage it in. If I come home and have a shower, I'll put it on straight after the shower, and then if I can, I'll have a bath with, I use about 15 drops, but I suppose if someone's 10 stone, they don't need to use 15 drops, but 10 drops in it. But I do. I'm 17 stone, so I think, well, I've got to have more oil in it. So I put about 15 drops, have 20-minute, half an hour soak, and I don't just do that when the legs are hurting. Actually, if I've had a particularly tough week, whether that's work, you know, business, training, I just feel exhausted, mentally and physically exhausted, I'll just go and have a soak in it for, well, I did on Friday night for an hour. And on Saturday morning, it just felt amazing. I had 9 hours sleep, which I never do anymore. I just sat there, I just felt absolutely brilliant. Just felt fully recovered, relaxed, and full of energy. So for me, that works really well. When I do, I'm not going to say I have a bath in it every day. I don't, you know, but if I'm feeling particularly fatigued, I'll have a bath in it. But for legs, straight after I've had a shower, works better. The reason why I'm saying the bath and the shower is because the pores are open. So it actually gets into the system much better. And the effects are, you know, tenfold really from just putting it on when your pores aren't open. So you could say the same with the sauna when you come out of the sauna, because the pores gets into the system much better, and works much faster. So for you, you know, you're still very active, you recover really well with all the other things that you're doing. I use it on my knee twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, because I get inflammation. 7 knee operations, you start to get inflammation, start to get pain. I think I've already said that, you know, you spend quite a lot of painkillers to just kind of get through the day without being in too much discomfort. So first thing in the morning, as soon as I get up, have my food, have a shower. As soon as I get out of the shower, I put 5 drops on my knee, massage it in. And then normally when I go to bed, I'll put it on again. And I also put a bit on my chest, not because I've got DOMs or my chest is sore. It's because of the relaxing qualities, the lavenders. I just sleep. You know, I'm not saying it probably makes you go to sleep quicker, but when I get to sleep, it just seems to give me a better quality of sleep. So I love that. Also use it on my shoulder. Again, not religiously, because I don't have, actually, I've never had a shoulder injury per se. I've never had surgery on it, but it does get sore just every now and again. I mean, at the moment, it's perfect. I did shoulders on Friday evening, heaviest I've trained shoulders for a long time, so it wasn't a particular problem. But sometimes, you know, even going and getting some out of the cupboard, it makes you wince. It's probably just wear and tear, you know, rotary cuff wear and tear. If it does start to inflame and get sore, I do put it on again in the morning, and if it's still sore, I put it on again at night. Or if I go to the gym and it is playing up, anything I do with body, I'll put it on half an hour before I go to the gym, just massage it into both shoulders, and it just helps me go through the workout without any pain, really. So people use it differently. and I just use a lot of it all the time because my body's so beat up.
Well, and you probably have an abundance at home, so why not?
Exactly. I don't have a shortage of it. So yeah, and I am the sort of person. I've got one in the car. I've got one in my gym bag. I've got one in the family bathroom. I've got one in the ensuite. You know what I mean? I do just have it. I have it everywhere.
Sorry, back to the when you had the cost of it. Do you have like I don't know, like a bulk discount or something if people buy more, or is there like if somebody subscribes, do they get like any sort of discount that way? Let's say somebody wants to buy more, because these are only 100 mil. So, you know, if you've got a big body, you might want to use a fair amount. So
yeah,
Is
absolutely.
there a way?
There's a subscription on the website that you can subscribe and save. So you can have it on a monthly subscription, or you can do like a 3 monthly subscription, and 3 bottles will just come through to you. And I should check for what that was before we started talking. I can't quite remember, but it's something like a 25% discount. We work with lots of athletes as well, so you know, if you've got a favorite athlete, if you follow somebody and you send them, you know, with Muscle Men, they've probably got a code. So there's normally a 20% discount code that any of our ambassadors have, that any of their followers. We've got a lot of online PT coaches, PTs, sports therapists. To be fair, it's one of our biggest sellers into the sports therapy market, because this product needs to be used. I can tell you about it all day long. I can tell you how great it is. Till people use it, that's when you understand the benefits and how good it is. So when you're going to have a sports massage and they put that on you afterwards, and you go away and you feel amazing, they you know, they go the next time and say, where can I get it from? And they go, oh, actually, we sell it. You know, it's on the shelves in reception. So they sell. So we sell a lot. We've done a couple of shows. So we met you at the Arnold Sports Festival at the start of October. We did FitX up in Liverpool before that, but we've also been working with the National Fitness Games as well. And then their athletes compete over the whole day, or sometimes over 2 days. And we actually took sports therapists with us. So we took a chiropractor and just a sports therapist. And we had the massage beds there. We had them using the product on it. And everybody that had treatment brought a bottle. They didn't have to. We were providing the treatment for free. We just, you know, someone will come and I think we'll have to pull out, you know, I've done something to my forearm or my hamstring or glute, and then they were having treatment, coming back half an hour later and saying, I'm doing the next event, where before they didn't, they were going to be able to. We had that, the Arnold, actually, you know, they had lots of different things going on, didn't they? So they had the CrossFit games, they had the strength side, they had lots of different fantastic things going on, from martial arts, say, to it's not like the old bodybuilding expos. It was all about bodybuilding and just people that go to the gym. There was some, you know, great things going on. And the girls that was on the stand working for us, one of them is a sports therapist. She was going over into the area where the athletes were doing the CrossFit. Some were going, oh God, you know, this is sore, that's sore, this is hurting, and just putting it on them and, you know, massaging it into their forearms or wherever the issue was. I'm sure there was nothing wrong with some of them. They just wanted to have a free little massage. So
why not?
Can't blame them. But yeah, so and then they were coming out back over and buying the product, and they're sending us testimonials now because how much they loved it. There was a company you might have noticed directly in front of us at the Arnold, they were doing the sports massage. I can't remember the name of but they had about 8 beds there, and all their therapists doing, but you had to pay for a massage.
Right.
When they saw the product on Friday morning when the show opened, they come and asked us what it was, and I gave them some product to use. Now they're buying product off me. They've got 6 clinics, I think, throughout the country. And they were doing the massage as well in the recovery areas. And every person that used it, from the therapists themselves to the people that was having it, they were going, oh yeah, that's the product, you can go and buy it from them. And they were coming over and buying product from us. And since the event, the lady that owns the company, she now buys products off us. So awesome. They've got it in all their clinics. So that speaks volumes to me, and that's what I wanted. You know, you want people to use the product, really understand it, love it, get a benefit from it, and of course they'll then buy the product.
What's the future plans for Muscle Men? Is it just like a one product for that
Mm.
company, and then you'll set up something else completely differently, but to do with health and fitness, or?
No, not at all. As I said, I've got other businesses as well, and I always say I've got to stop taking so much on because I spread myself way too thinly. So Muscle Men only come about because I've obviously come across the product that was being developed, and then I had time to develop it. The spin-off from that is going to be a brand called Avexia, which means well-being in Greek. But that's going to be very green and white, so spa therapeutic looking. So if you've never been involved with sport, you've never been in a gym, or you don't really, how are you going to go if you're 60 and you want to go, you want to be pain-free doing the garden, or you want to go out walking, or you might play a bit of tennis, or go out running. You don't want to be in discomfort doing that. So would Muscle Mend, if you saw that online, or I think the age demographic that we're going for with that might not have as much online presence, wouldn't be as kind of social media focused as maybe the younger generation. So I think Muscle Mend would scare people with the branding. I think the branding is amazing. I love it. The name, the feedback's been fantastic on it. The way it looks is great. But if you sit, would my dad go and buy it? No, probably not. He only uses it because how much it's helping him, because I give it him. You know what I mean? But he would definitely, Mum and Dad would definitely buy Avexia. So we are going to launch, because I think we're missing a marketplace. Basically, I think we're missing a huge marketplace, which is the the older age demographic. So we're going to launch Avexia for that. Then it will be the oil. But on the back of that brand, we're going to be launching more liquid vitamins, antioxidants, things that we just become much more health conscious, I think, as we get older. I've always been health conscious because I've been involved with sport all my life, and I think we were at the, I don't want to sound revolutionary, but certainly recovery was massively important to me as a bodybuilder. When it wasn't in football, lots of footballers have massive drinking culture then in football and rugby. Recovery wasn't really taken that seriously. They've got a bit of talent. They got played for, whether it's a Man United or an Arsenal of this world, or whether it's in any football division. That was because they were quite talented. I'm sure some took it a little bit more serious than others, but the drinking culture of places like Manchester United and Arsenal was huge. It was a massive problem. Not telling me they went and thought about recovery and they've got to get this many hours in. They was in a pub in Altrincham, and I know a few of the old players, so they'll tell me the story. It's still 1 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night. They've got a game on a Saturday.
Wow.
They'd get up, wouldn't want to have breakfast because they were still drunk from the night before. Then I'd get to the ground, have their food, and it's mind-blowing. But I think recovery really started to come into football when Arsene Wenger went to come to Arsenal, Alex Ferguson, Manchester United. It became much more serious, and the amount of money that's been ploughed into that side. So that evolved very, very quickly within professional sport, then spread to rugby, and that became professional. And obviously the sports science side within any headline sport, a top line sport now, it's tennis, cricket, rugby, football, boxing, anything, it's taken really, really seriously. But I was doing that when I was 23 and I was in a gym, because it was all, you grow when you recover. So I used to call my bed my grow bag, and I used to make sure I was in bed at a certain time, because then I wanted to get my 8 hours sleep in, recover. Then I'd be getting up, having a protein drink afterwards. I don't think there was branched chain amino acids. There might have been around, but I wasn't taking things like branched chain amino acids then. But I was always looking for something that would make me recover better, and making sure I slept. I didn't drink alcohol. I'd go to weddings with my Tupperware and drink, stills, spring water, and people go, "You're at a wedding?" And well, yeah, but this is what I do. So I think then the bodybuilding market was quite big on recovery, actually. I think they were probably bigger on recovery than a lot of the other sports. But generally, people don't think about their recovery that much. I don't think. I think it's one of the things that's neglected. So I think with Avexia, we want to. I think when you get older, you do start to take it more seriously, because you realise things start going wrong and you hurt more, and you just, I suppose, you're more conscious of you've got less time left. Let's not be more. It is Halloween, but we're not too. But yeah, I think you are more conscious. So you want to do something you can feel better for longer. Then great. So that's going to be that's kind of the ethos and the mentality behind Avexia. And Muscle Mend, I want to stay true to recovery. So yes, I suppose once I've built the brand, we're just over a year old now. It's really starting to get known. It's going to go into a major retailer, which will obviously help again. We're just breaking into football. We're getting into rugby. We're already in rugby, but we're going to actually do like a rugby campaign. It's going to be much more of a social media campaign, as we just started the football one, and then we're already talking to the LTA, Lawn Tennis Association, for tennis. So that will probably be the next one. So I want to stay true to recovery, because I was saying I could do the easy thing, get the brand 3 years old, get it really recognised, doing really, really well, bring out a free workout. Bring out another protein, bring out just the things the staple things that people go to. I don't want to do that. I don't know why, because I should want the easy option, but I'm not saying anything's easy, because building a brand is the hardest thing I've ever done. It's unbelievably tough. And I've got a clothing brand, which is a new brand. We've got Muscle Men, that's a new brand, and I'm going to do Vexing, which is a new brand. And honestly, it's the toughest thing I've ever done. So there's no easy option with a brand. You can be very lucky, and it just takes some luck as well. When you look at Gym Sharks, people go absolute genius. But listen to Ben; he's very, very honest about it. There's times when he thought, "Enough's enough. I can't do this. It's not getting the traction I want. We're losing money." If you read Phil Knight's book, called Shoe Dog, who started Nike, you listen to their journey. Nothing's easy. We all think there's these overnight successes, but they're not really. And yes, I think if you stick to be true to your beliefs and your ethos and your vision, you still need a bit of luck. It's going to be that one thing that just really, really helps you. So I don't want what I think is the easy option by doing what's on every gym shelf for it. It's not for me. I want to be known as the sports recovery company, really, the go-to product for sports recovery products. And whether that's, I've always got about 482 things going around in my head at any one time, and that changes on a daily basis. So for me to nail down what I'm doing, yes, I'm working on other things at the moment. We're working on 3 or 4 products that I'm pretty set on doing. I won't say about them now, because I don't like saying it until I know that that's definitely what's going to happen, and when it's going to happen, and when we're going to launch or launch it into the range. I'd rather look. It's not speculation, because we're actually in a formulation stage, and we're working with people developing it. But 1 or 2 of them might drop in, and another couple of things by then might come in. But certainly things like turmerics, and that I'm really, really interested in. And I've been researching, looking into a lot about how they work, what quality they have to be, the processes they have to go through to work efficiently in the body. Because there's things you can take and you think, well, because it's a turmeric, it works. But don't it actually, by the time it even gets into the gut, it's destroyed if it hasn't gone through certain processes. So I would say, I just said I wasn't going to say something we could do, but I think that's almost a pretty dead cert, because I think it's got huge benefits. So if you can if you can help alleviate inflammation internally, the health benefits for that are massive. The well-being benefits of it are massive. And then if you've got the product or the Muscle Men oil that can help, with your sore elbows, your sore shoulders, your general recovery, just feeling good, then you're hitting it from both angles, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
awesome.
Yeah, so probably a turmeric type product will be coming into the range at some point. But yeah, we're developing other things as well. But
that's great.
Where it goes, who knows?
Who knows? We just got to try. See, and
we'll reach for the stars, and we won't stop trying. So that's the commitment I've got to it anyway.
Yeah. So where is Muscle Men? What is the website, and also what are the social media channels that you are on?
We are on Insta. So Insta, I'm down with the kids now. I say Insta, apparently. So we're on Instagram. If you just search for Muscle Mend, it will come up. Our website is muscle-mend.com. We're on Facebook as well. So you literally just search for Muscle Mend and it will come up on Facebook. We're on TikTok, but I don't know. Just type in Muscle Mend. I guess I'm not the social media and the marketing guru behind Muscle Men. I've got a fantastic business partner, Brad, who's 27. So skill sets, my business and business background, and sports background and connections, and the 27-year-old dynamic, marketing degree, but degrees don't mean then much to me. But it's that he's good at what he does. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we've got a great team. So he takes more care of that side. So I do know we're on TikTok, but I don't know. You'd have to search it. And also we're on YouTube as well. So a lot of our longer testimonials, we've got some really in-depth testimonials from people on there that go into it in why it works, how it works in much more detail from a sports perspective, how it benefits them. So they're on YouTube as well as our website.
Awesome, awesome. What I'll do with that information, I'll put it in the show notes. So when people go through the notes, all the links will be there so that they can follow, subscribe, and check out all your stuff, and
Yeah.
find the oil to purchase as well.
No, that'd be brilliant. Obviously, anyone wants to drop us a message on Instagram as well. Anyone wants any more information, we're very responsive. I should say Brad's very responsive, and he gets back to people very, very quickly. So yeah, always welcome to answer anyone's questions if they want any more information. So all the information is on the website, but if they do want to, reach out to us, that's no problem at all. Obviously, trade, we supply to the trade as well. So if there's any gym owners that listen to your podcast, then again, contact us through that, and we can give you lots of information about the trade packages that we can do. And we're very much for supporting our stockists as well. So we support them with marketing material. Posters, flyers, they can use any of our content, and in fact we encourage it. And you see the products selling much better in people that do engage with their clients, so their gym members, or we're in with their football academy, and they promote it and they educate the market on it, because unless you find out what it is and how it works and how it might work for you, then you're not really going to purchase it. So yeah, we help with that a lot. So with
that's awesome.
marketing material.
Awesome. Stuart, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for your time, sir. I hope lots of people have got a lot of great information from this, and find their way to your website and social media channels. Have an amazing day, and we'll catch up soon.
Brilliant, Roger. I really appreciate your time and letting us come on here and talk about our product, and hopefully many people enjoy the benefits going forward.
For sure. Nice one. You take care.
Thanks, Roger.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.